When the Bulls signed Demar Derozan in the offseason, I was pretty happy about it because I knew it was going to essentially guarantee us a playoff spot in the NBA. I mean, a team featuring Demar Derozan, Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, and a pretty solid supporting cast around those players, I thought it was going to be a lock for us to be a postseason team, which it was. And despite major injuries to Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, and Nikola Vucevic for good stretches of the season, DeRozan, along with Zach LaVine, who was also going through his own injuries at the time, were able to carry the Chicago Bulls offensively to the playoffs. Despite us dropping from the 1 seed to the 6 seed in a matter of 5 minutes, we were still able to be a respectable offense in the league, and that was mainly due to Demar Derozan and obviously Zach LaVine as his number 2 option. But despite all of the flaws that I saw in the Chicago Bulls, especially come playoff time with players like Nikola Vucevic being one of the worst rim protectors in the league, and now we've added Andre Drummond, which just pisses me off even more, the Bulls have a true problem on their hands, and his name is not Nikola Vucevic, it's Demar Derozan. But before we go any further with this video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and press that bell for post notifications to stay up to date with the latest content on Young Mustard.
You find somebody who stopped LeBron, in these moments, I give you $100. If we had LeBron on our team too, we would have, we could say that, all day, time, everything, but we didn't. It happened. We got swept, and it's gonna be one of them long summers for us.
Demar Derozan is a pretty good player, all-star caliber player in fact. He's one of the league's best scorers and a very good offensive player overall. This past year, Demar had one of his best seasons to date, and you could argue it was his best regular season, averaging 28 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on 50% shooting from the field, 88% from the free throw line, which accumulates to a true shooting percentage of 59%. When you talk about efficiency, that's exactly what Demar Derozan was inside of the three-point line. Obviously, he's not a great three-point shooter, but as far as the mid-range, he was one of the league's best, shooting 47% in the mid-range area this past regular season. In the non-restricted area, Demar shot 52%, and in the restricted area, he also shot 64%. And when you talk about insane stretches in the regular season, I have to say February Demar Derozan this past year was incredible, averaging 34 points a game, 5 assists and 6 rebounds, just over a steal, shooting 55% from the field, 40% from 3, and 88% at the free throw line. That stretch included 10 straight games of 30 plus points or more, including 8 straight games of 35 plus points or more on 50% shooting from the field or higher. And when you're sitting down with Wilt Chamberlain at the record table because only Wilt Chamberlain was able to accumulate numbers like that over a stretch of time, then you know you are doing something incredible. When you talk about Demar as an offensive player, his scoring is truly a beauty to watch. He can get to his spots in the mid-range game. That 12 to 15 feet area he dominates like no other in the league. He's a good finisher at the rim despite the loss of athleticism from his Toronto days. But the one thing about his game now as compared to back then that I think he's dramatically improved on is his playmaking. He still has his flaws here and there that we're going to touch on later on in this video, but as far as what he's improved on in that category, I have to say the number one thing is passing out of double teams. Demar doesn't get hit with doubles the way he used to in San Antonio, but going to San Antonio I think really opened up his ability to pass out of those situations and be a really good decision maker. In Toronto, he really had tunnel vision so much, and it was really annoying to see, especially come postseason time, but ever since he's left there under Greg Popovich, his IQ was able to grow to a point that I can trust him with the ball in his hands consistently, not only as a scoring option but as a playmaker as well. Because when Demar is on fire, he truly can cook anyone in the league. He just gets to his spots in the mid-range and pulls up like it's nothing, hand in face. It just doesn't faze him at all. And on top of his good scoring and decent playmaking, he's also good at getting to the free throw line because he can incite contact like crazy, whether it's at the rim or even in the mid-range area, by manipulating the defense into doing so. And because of how great he is as an offensive talent, he's been able to make multiple all-star teams, an all-NBA team, and even this past year finished top 10 in MVP voting and got some consideration middle of the season. But like many other players, Demar Derozan obviously has his flaws, and I can't lie, his flaws are a big reason why I don't want him on my team anymore. DeMar. DeMar offensively is a really spectacular player, but he does have a lot of weaknesses, primarily being his lack of a three-point shot. DeMar has never been even a league average three-point shooter, and he doesn't even attempt them. I get it that he takes shots inside the three-point line, he can get to the free throw line, get rim pressure, all of that stuff is nice, but especially come postseason time, a lack of a three-point shot when you are one of the primary scorers and in most cases the #1 option, yeah, that's gonna hurt your team in a huge way. Then on top of that, Demar Derozan as a playmaker, even though he's a solid passer and decision maker, especially compared to what he was in Toronto, he can sometimes be a ball hog and have a lot of tunnel vision. There have been so many times where I see Lonzo or Levine or whoever open in the corner or even at the rim sometimes for a cut or a lob, and he'll just jack up a mid-range jumper contested. And those things would be cool if Demar Derozan was just like an average defender, but unfortunately Demar Derozan isn't just below average, but he's one of the 5 to 10 worst defenders in the NBA. This guy in every single aspect of defense is trash. One-on-one defense sucks. Off-ball defense sucks. Rotations suck. Switches suck. Pick and roll suck. Obviously, as a rim protector, he sucks. And when you have a player like that who can't space the floor offensively, combined with being a horrible defensive player, not just horrible, but one of the worst defenders in the league, it's almost impossible to win with somebody like that, especially if he is your #1 option. Hell, it's even hard to win with somebody like that if he's coming off the bench. Because for somebody that doesn't space the floor, drops off in the playoffs, and is not even considered an elite player in the regular season, combined with being one of the worst defenders in the NBA, how do you expect for that guy to lead your team as the #1 option, or hell, even your #2 option? He really is a defensive liability, and offensively he falls off in the playoffs every single year. If you look at this past year, he went from averaging 28, 5 and 5 on 50% shooting from the field to averaging 21, 5 and 5 on 41% shooting from the field. And combine that with the fact that when he was on the court, the Bulls had a 113.8 defensive rating, and when he was off the court, it went down by 31.7 to an 82.1. It truly shows just how bad Demar Derozan was on the defensive side of the ball, combined with his drop off offensively. And it would be one thing if this was just a one-year thing with Demar Derozan, but unfortunately it is not. There have been multiple times in Demar's career in multiple different teams, in San Antonio and in Toronto, now in Chicago, where we have more than enough evidence of Demar Derozan being a playoff dropper. This is not a second or third year player. Demar's been in the league for over 10 seasons and been on 3 different organizations. Yet in each and every team that he's been on, the team has had issues as far as in the playoffs working around his flaws as a floor spacer and as a bad defender. Now, I am fully aware that Demar Derozan is not the only issue in Chicago. I hate Vucevic and I want him off my team desperately. The fact that we gave up what we gave up just to get his sorry ass is insane to me. I miss you, Wendell. Please come back to us one day. And I'm also fully aware that Demar does usually run into players that are better than him, like a Giannis this past year, granted without Chris Middleton, or in the past running into LeBron James and Nikola Jokic. But that's my point. Demar Derozan has proven what he is in the NBA. He's never going to get past those elite level players as your #1 option, and I don't even think he can do it as your #2 options with the flaws that he has in his game. And considering that Levine took a step back for him because he kind of had to is insane, because people don't even talk about that. Levine on the ball is just as good, if not better, than Demar Derozan, but off the ball he works a lot better because he can shoot the 3. He's a great slasher, even a decent lob threat for a player of his size due to his athleticism, and because he can operate off the ball a lot better than Demar Derozan and still give you 30 doing so, it's just easier for him to do that while Derozan has the ball in his hands. I truly do believe the Bulls should move on from Demar Derozan. I really wanted us to get Rudy Gobert. I wanted Vucevic gone. I wanted Derozan gone. I wanted us to have a more defensive oriented identity and not just relying on Lonzo and Caruso to backpack our defense, along with Pat Will, who's coming back next year. Jeremy Grant was also someone that I wanted us to go after. We could have gave them a lot more than just that lame ass package that the Blazers gave up for him. Kobe White, please get the hell off my team. I really wanted what was best for this team, obviously not just because I'm a fan, but I see a lot of promise and potential on the roster with guys like Lonzo, Zach LaVine, Ayo Dosunmu, Patrick Williams, and plenty of other solid players around them. DeRozan served his purpose by rejuvenating us back into a playoff roster, but I truly don't think we can win a championship, especially now that we've added that shitty ass center and Andre Drummond to the roster to join Vucevic's sorry ass, and having a big man rotation of those two combined with Demar Derozan is just a recipe for disaster come postseason time. And sure, I see us having a pretty solid regular season. We may even surprise people and be a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, but we all know the road to the NBA Finals goes through a guy like Giannis or a Joel Embiid, and no matter what, we're cooked in either of those situations, because as good as DeMar DeRozan is in the regular season, he's never going to be able to carry that over into the postseason. But you guys, let me know your opinions down below in the comment section on DeMar DeRozan. Do you believe I was too harsh on him, or hell, do you think I let him off the hook a little bit too easier and could have been meaner towards him? Appreciate you guys for checking out this video. Like I said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. You guys have a blessed day. Peace.